Very unpredictable nights, and it continues now at 160 pounds with two undefeated fighters. We take a look at the Corona tail of the tape for Hugo Centeno Jr. and Maciej Sulcki. Centeno Jr. 24-0 with 12 knockouts. Sulcki 22-0. Fanfara has the advantages in height and, Hugo Centeno Jr. has the significant reach advantage in this one, 74 inches to 68 inches. Both fighters about 6'1". Let's go right now to arena announcer Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on NBC from Chicago, Premier Boxing Champions now features 10 rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red and the white. He enters the ring undefeated, 22 wins, 7 of those coming by way of knockout against no losses. Fighting out of Warsaw, Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Maciej Sulcki. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the United States and the Mexican flag. As a professional, he's perfect. 24 bouts, 24 victories, including a dozen wins coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Oxnard, California. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Hugo, the Boss, Centeno Jr. And your referee in charge, Mark Nelson.
Earlier, you both know what I expect. Please give me a good, hard, clean fight, obey my commands, and protect yourself at all times. Touch them up.
Well, guys, to this point, it has not been a good night for fighters out of the area of Warsaw, Poland. And here is Maciej Sulcki, a 27-year-old from Warsaw, 22-07 by knockout after coming up with just 3 knockouts his first 18 fights. He's now knocked out his last 4, and he's going up against Hugo Centeno Jr. from Oxnard, California. And his last fight, 10-round unanimous decision over Josue Ovando last December. A surprising struggle for Centeno, a closer than expected 10 rounds. And BJ, we talked about it with him yesterday. He says he was actually affected by Ovando's height. He was expecting to fight someone 5'11". He said the guy comes in 6'3", 6'4". Nice scouting. How do you not know that?
You got to fire the guy, whoever turned in the scouting report, Marv. It wasn't a good job. You know, look, at this level in boxing, you got to do your research, you got to do your homework, and he was surprised, and he fought accordingly. The guy fought him well, and he wasn't prepared for it. But tonight, he says he's focused, he knows a lot about this kid, and he's looking to put on a great performance to make people forget about his last performance.
Sulcki looks to be the most dangerous opponent that Centeno has ever faced. 3-time Polish junior champion as an amateur. Made his pro debut at the age of 21.
And something I really like about Sulcki, Marv, is that, you know, his big amateur background. He had a lot of amateur fights, and it's hard to be a good champion when you weren't a good amateur.
Marv Albert, BJ Flores, welterweight contender Errol Spence.
Speaking of guys with great amateur careers, Errol Spence, quite a few multiple national titles, Olympian for Team USA. What do you see so far in the first round, Errol?
I like what Sulcki's doing. He's using his jab. Centeno trying to use angle, trying to box him. They're trying to catch each other's rhythm in the first round, which is perfect.
These are middleweights. It is scheduled for 10. Sulcki, after coming up with only 3 knockouts his first 18 fights, has, as I mentioned, come on in that department. No fighter from Poland has ever won a world title at middleweight.
Yeah, they've had some really good light heavyweights. They've had some really good light heavyweights and some good heavyweights. Andrew Golota and you know, Thomas Adamek, Andrzej Fanfara also. So you know, a lot of good tradition for fighters from Poland, and this guy's trying to, you know, continue with that tradition.
Well, how about Joseph Smith at 232? of round 1 with the knockout of Fanfare.
Defense tight.
This is a corner look-in brought to you by Applebee's. On to round 2. Maciej Sulcki and the white and red trunks.
Pretty even fight so far.
Yeah, close first round, Errol, and you see Sulcki, he talked about, wanting to get that left jab going, wanting to mix it up and offset Centeno with his left jab to set up his combinations. Neither guy has really gotten into too much of a rhythm yet, so it's going to be interesting over these next couple rounds to see who dictates the terms of the fight. Who makes the other guy fight his game plan, because I believe that's going to be the key for either fighter tonight.
Definitely. It's a battle of the jabs right now. Centeno's throwing a nice counter hook, though. When,
keep your head up. Be careful, guys.
When Sulcki comes in.
Standing kind of straight up, though, on the inside, Errol, and, it can be very dangerous when you're on the inside and you're a tall guy anyways to stand straight up. So you've got to make sure and bend those knees, get his head off to one side or the other.
I have a question for Errol, coming off what was a dominant 5th round knockout with Chris Algieri in mid-April. What is next for you?
I'm fighting August 21st on NBC.
And you'll be fighting who?
That's in the works now, but it will be
in the works. The old in the works.
TBA.
Yeah.
But it will be a title eliminator for the IBF.
Well, that's fantastic.
Get out of there. Punch out. Get your hands free.
Great win on your last fight, Errol, in April. I had an opportunity to cover that fight. Chris Algieri, a very good fighter, someone we've seen in with top opposition and always performed very well. So, for you to go in there and make a statement like that, taking nothing away from Chris, but it was just a great performance by you. And complete body attack, nice transformation in your career and your style of fighting over the last, 12 to 18 months. I've seen some real changes in you, and you're doing some really good stuff.
Thank you.
And whoever that mystery opponent might be, so if you are victorious, it could mean a mandatory challenge for a welterweight title.
Yes, August 21st will be the mandatory challenge, so hopefully I get Kell Brook next.
That's down the road.
Down the road.
And Sulcki's having some good moments here in round 2, Marv. He backed Centeno up in the corner and landed some good shots. He's in the clinches. He's trying to fight. He's really, he didn't come in to lose tonight. Wants to keep that undefeated record.
So 2 rounds in the books.
Yeah, looking back, Errol, on your last fight in April that I was talking about, pure domination, nice overhand left. You caught Chris on top of the head, and then later in the round, attacking the body and making it very difficult for him to know where you're coming from. Just an assortment of punches, a wide offensive array. Good stuff from a young, up-and-coming star.
Have you begun training for your next fight?
Yes, I started training 2 weeks ago. I try to stay in the gym, try to stay sharp, keep my weight down.
I know BJ and I have also begun our training periods.
Actually, I fought 3 weeks ago, Marv, so I was in training camp for almost 6 weeks for that. So, no congratulations on my win 3 weeks ago. But Errol, we love, absolutely love watching the evolution of your career, like how you started, how you were 12 to 18 months ago, how you are now, a complete fighter, and someone definitely to keep your eye on over the next several years in the 147-pound division. Errol Spence's name is out there. Watch out, welterweight division.
Maciej Sulcki, 27 years old, out of Warsaw, Poland, going up against Hugo Centeno Jr., 25-year-old out of Oxnard, California.
He's heating up a little bit.
Centeno, Marv, just caught Sulcki with a nice right uppercut and stunned him a little bit. Good shot.
The unofficial scoring of Eric Raskin. Sulcki ahead after winning the first 2 rounds.
Stop.
Nice counter left hook by Sulcki a second ago. He's looking to time the left jab of Centeno and slide on the inside of it, Marv, and hit him with that left hook, get close, and then do work. Nice left hook again. Left hook to the body definitely got the attention of Sulcki there. You saw Errol, you know, a lot of guys don't like to shoot lead left hooks, but Centeno did it a second ago, and it landed nicely to the body.
Yeah, it's working for him. He's tall, he's rangy, and the left foot's working for him. You see Sulcki backed up after he hit him with a body shot.
And a good right hand by Sulcki.
You know, body work does so many things. It, you know, keeps your opponent more defensive. It takes the stamina and the energy out of him. It also makes them, you know, be less offensive. Body work is so important. And, you know, looking at some of the good body punchers of years past, Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, guys like that, how they're able to take their opponents apart. It's nice to see a young prospect like you that's got such a belief in body punching. Have you always fought like that, or is that something you tried to develop since you've been a professional?
It's something we develop. It's something we develop in the amateurs, and it's something I've been using for the longest.
I think the hand speed and the foot movement of Sulcki's, you know, causing Centeno a little bit of problems here, Marv. He's really able to, you know, Centeno's not completely comfortable with what's going on right now, and that's because that left jab and that movement of Sulcki.
And Centeno has sparred with several quality fighters. Ruslan Provodnikov and Peter Quillen, Triple G, Sergio Martinez.
Hands free.
He has been knocked down once. That was back in 2013. Centeno behind on points. And he came back to stop Hoshino in round 10.
Nice. Good right hand from Sulcki.
On the scorecard of our unofficial score, boxing writer Eric Raskin, it's 3-0 in favor of Maciej Sulcki. 20-18 over the first 3 rounds. Scheduled for 10. These are middleweights. And here now, the unofficial scorecard from Eric, brought to you by Mobile Strike, and looks to be a unanimous to this point for Sulcki.
Yeah, having a shutout, Marv. 3 rounds to nothing, 30-27. What's impressing me with Sulcki, he's got the better techniques, shorter, sharper, straighter punches, nice counter punching. It's pretty much a one-sided, surprisingly one-sided fight, I should say, so far, because this looked really even on paper going in. But so far, Sulcki out to the early lead.
And I like what Eric said. You know, it's been surprisingly one-sided. And why is that? Because of the left jab and the left hand of Sulcki. He's got that punch going, and it's really thrown Centeno off.
Now let's go over to Kenny Rice. Kenny.
All right, thanks, Marv. In the Centeno corner with Eric Brown. Eric, what do you think so far?
I think we're doing okay. I just want Hugo to be a little bit busier, that's all. This kid's tough. He's a busy guy. But I like what Hugo's doing. I just want him to do a little bit more.
What does he have to do more, you think, to take charge here?
Just stay on top of his game, keep working his jab, keep counter-punching this guy, and putting combinations together. All right, come on, work!
All right, thanks, Eric. Marv.
Eric Brown in the corner of Hugo Centeno. He also trains, Eric does, former middleweight champ Peter Quillen.
Eric Brown was an assistant of Freddie Roach for a lot of years and learned a lot of good stuff at that wild card gym out there. He's got a nice stable of fighters now, and he's going to have to tell Centeno something to get him going here, because so far he's having some troubles with the style of Sulcki.
Maciej Sulcki is the crowd favorite by way of Warsaw, Poland, a crowd that is not happy with what they saw from Warsaw's Andrew Fanfara, who was knocked out in the first round by Joe Smith Jr.
A shocking performance by Joe Smith Jr. in the last fight. You know, Fanfara comes in as a huge favorite and gets floored early. But got to remember, this is boxing.
And Fanfara, as we mentioned earlier, considered among the top 4-5 light heavyweights in the world.
That's why that division is so exciting. New faces coming in all the time.
All right, final seconds of the fourth.
We see some good action, you know, talking about some of the scoring, how it's gone so far. You see Centeno land a nice overhand right. So let's see coming back with a nice right-hand counter.
Putting them together a little bit more, Hugo. All right? You seeing what this guy's bringing. And you making him miss real good. But you got to come up working, son. All right?
A corner looking brought to you by Applebee's. It is on to round 5. It has been all Maciej Sulcki in the white and red trunks.
Yeah, Centeno's having a lot of problems, Marv, with that style. Errol, what are you seeing so far, you know, in the last few rounds? What does Centeno need to do to get going here?
I think he needs to stop fouling in. He's fouling in. Need to use his reach, use his jab, and come on the top with his right hand. Sulcki, he's fighting very smart, using angles, using his jab, countering Centeno, and looking good so far.
Yeah, he's doing some good work. You know, Centeno's a big, you know, undefeated guy. He's got way more knockouts, but sometimes records can be very deceiving. You got a guy with 150 amateur fights like Sulcki goes in there and just makes it look easy. And I think one of the main things Centeno has to do is take away the left jab of Sulcki. He's able to do it. He's able to land all these big punches, but he could take the left jab away by countering it with his own right hand. He could slip on the inside and hit it with counter combinations, anything to make him put that punch away, because so far it's controlling the fight, Errol.
Yeah, BJ. And Sulcki, he's boxing now. He's actually moving around, moving backwards and using the jab and picking his shots. And countering with a nice hook.
And he's really applying a lot of tempo and a lot of pressure to Centeno, to be honest with you. He's really taking control of this fight so far.
Centeno has not been active. This is first fight this year. Had only a total of 4 fights the previous 2 years, which is not a busy schedule when you're talking about someone who feels he's a prospect.
Right. And, you know, he was looking for these types of fights, though, Marv. He said, you know, I want to fight good guys, good opposition, but so far it's Sulcki who's really just in the driver's seat.
And it appears that Centeno has a cut on his right eye.
And if I'm Sulcki here, I'm just going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing until Centeno makes me change up my game plan. I'm going to stab that jab into his body. I'm going to bring it back up top, hit him with the right hand, and take a little step to either side and make him find me again.
Centeno looks like he's getting a little discouraged.
Sulcki doing a lot of good punching in there, Marv.
And we've come to the end of round 5.
We'll take a look at how Centeno got that cut on the right side of his eye. Nice counter left hook by Sulcki in that last round. Good counter punching by him.
And it appears that Maciej Sulcki is throwing a shutout as we get underway here in round 6. Sulcki's last fight mid-January at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. He stopped Derek Findlay in the 7th round on the undercard of a Deontay Wilder bout.
And Derek Findlay, a tough but kind of a journeyman type level fighter. And, you know, sometimes you just don't have the right opportunities to show how good you are, and that might be the case with Sulcki. No big names on his resume yet, but after tonight, if he continues to do what he's doing, people are going to take notice of this kid in the middleweight division. I'm not proclaiming him to be the next entrance on the next entry on the pound-for-pound list, but I think he's doing a lot of good stuff tonight, and he's going to open a lot of eyes with his performance over a good undefeated young fighter.
Definitely. Great showing tonight. Showing a lot of skills.
Why is it a good showing, Errol? What's he doing that's impressed you so far?
Just the way that he's coming at Centeno. Sometimes he jabs in the inside. Sometimes he comes with the hook. He's countering. He's using angles. He's just varying up his punches, too.
It seems like he has an answer for everything that Centeno's trying to do. So I like that, and I got to attribute that to his vast amateur background.
And most of Sulcki's fights have taken place in Poland. And with Chicago with an enormous Polish population, you can hear the crowd rooting for Sulcki right from the start.
Down.
Well, he might as well be in Poland tonight, Mark, because in Chicago they got a lot of fans that really support their Polish fighters, and they should be very excited about what they're seeing, because like Errol said, he's really starting to break them down against the ropes with the body shots, the long shots on the outside, and Centeno's definitely frustrated. Punches are slowing down. He's starting to look a little winded. Sulcki getting a little careless there, kind of just jumping in with the left hook. We saw his left leg actually come up off the ground. But Centeno is in no position to make him pay.
Good combination by Sulcki. He was frustrated a moment ago by being tied up.
I like to see Sulcki keep using the jab. He's going away from the jab a little bit.
I feel like he's able to walk. He feels like he's able to walk right into range and land whatever he wants on Centeno. So.
Holding and hitting on the part of Sulcki as this 6th round comes to a close.
So next weekend, it's that enormous encounter between welterweight champ Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, and we will be back in action later that night on NBCSN with Justin DeLoche against 2012 Olympian Junior Castillo. And a reminder, our coverage continues tonight at 11 Eastern on NBCSN. As the action continues, I'm curious what Errol thinks of that upcoming bout between Thurman and Porter.
It's a great fight. This is what boxing is all about. Two young guys on the top of the game fighting each other, and that's what we need in boxing.
That's not what we want to hear, man. Who do you want to win and who do you want to fight?
Very political, man.
Well, I don't care who wins, and I'll fight either one.
Anybody in specific that you dislike or like more?
I like Sean more. Sean, he's a humble guy, soft-spoken.
Way up, baby.
And I have more history with Sean through the amateurs and a history with his dad, too. So I want Sean to win.
Centeno was just told to keep his punches up. And you heard the reaction from the crowd this after a barrage thrown by Sulcki.
Good stuff. Sulcki's trying to take this out of the judge's hands here. He's going to say, you know what, I'm going to put an exclamation mark on an already good performance. And he came out blazing in the 7th round, Mark. A lot of punches and good combinations.
Eric, it appears to be a shutout as we check in with our unofficial scorer, Eric Raskin. How do you see it?
Yeah, I have it a shutout, Marv. 6 rounds to nothing, 60-54. Nothing's changed since the last time you checked in with me. Really, it's all Sulcki here. And I think Errol made an excellent observation a couple rounds ago that Centeno is getting discouraged. I think that that's absolutely correct. And, I don't know if he's got that extra gear, that motivation he needs to make any kind of comeback here. So far, we're not seeing it.
Yeah, Sulcki, Marv, looks like the stronger fighter and the more educated fighter. So when you got both of those things going your way and you're up 7-0 with only 10 rounds left, it's things are looking pretty good. You're going to have a good night. Nice straight right hand. And we're just not seeing enough offense from Centeno. He's just not doing enough to be able to possibly give him any of these rounds on the scorecards. It's not even close.
And when you're down 6-7 rounds and you're really not a knockout puncher, very difficult here the rest of the way.
Oh, definitely. And it's his body posture just tells it all. He looked discouraged. He looked like he don't want to be there now. And Sulcki's doing anything he wants to do in there right now.
Yeah, he's kind of starting to, bully him around and beat him up a little bit. So, first few rounds are close, but that left jab, such a separating tool, and, really good work.
Right, don't punch. Stop. Step back. Time.
Another round for Maciej Sulcki.
Looking here, the head of Centeno got a little low. Sulcki pushed the head down a lot of.
Oh!
He did get nailed.
We've seen that before, but whoa!
What a chin by the ref.
Is that Mark Nelson in there taking those punches? Look at him. He's got to wipe the perspiration off his face.
It is Mark Nelson out of Maplewood, Minnesota, showing that he has a very strong chin.
He's got a good chin, Mark. Look at that.
Look at Sulcki. He cannot believe it. That was the best punch of the fight by Centeno.
Mark Nelson looks like a former fighter himself. He took that well, Marv.
It is round 8 scheduled for 10. And it has been all Maciej Sulcki. Once again in the corner there was blood from the right eye of Hugo Centeno Jr. Centeno actually began his career as a welterweight. It's only his 5th fight as a middleweight. His last 5 have been at this weight division.
Big right hand by Sulcki a second ago. Nice hook right hand combination. He's just punishing now. He's punishing Centeno against those ropes, Errol. What does he need to do to get his opponent out of here?
He needs to work the body. I think he needs to work the body and come upstairs and come forward. Come forward with his hands up like he was trying to do in the beginning.
Once again, Kenny Rice.
All right, thanks, Marv. Sulcki corner. Chico Rivas, anything you can tell him to do differently now?
Nah, he's listening to everything to a T, we prepare everything for the right fight. And he's, now we told him he's ready to go. And he's putting power into his punches. Try to put away. He's doing everything we asked him to do.
Is this about closing this fight out or just finishing strong?
Finishing strong. If the knockout comes, it comes. But if we finish strong, that's what we're looking for. All right? We're trying to bring the Polish people something that, we just lost. But now we got a new Polish star coming up right now. And he's doing the right thing.
All right, thanks, Chico. Marv?
Kenny Chico Rivas lives in Poland and comes to the United States to train Sulcki. And as he mentions, he's hoping that Sulcki, I don't think there's any question unless there's a surprise knockout here, brings some happiness to those who have turned up, who rooted for Andrew Fonfara, who was taken down in the 1st round in a surprise by Joe Smith Jr. There's some pressure by Sulcki. We've had no knockdowns. This round 8 scheduled for 10. But it has been a dominating performance.
And it just looks like a young kid against a man in there today. It really does. Sulcki's able to do what he wants. He's controlling the fight. He's dominating, stronger, and he's really having his way with the undefeated Centeno.
He's doing anything he wants in there, and I'd like to see Sulcki go for the knockout. He's on NBC. This is his showing.
Errol speaking on behalf of NBC. And earlier this evening, in a major surprise, you saw that big right hand by Joe Smith Jr. out of Long Island against the man known as the Polish Prince, who is also noted not to be a fast starter. And we saw that here tonight.
Those are things they told us yesterday in the fighter meetings, Marv. He said, listen, you know, one thing I can do, I can punch. And one thing he doesn't do well, he doesn't defend when he punches. So I'm going to punch when he punches. That's exactly what he did, Marv, and got the biggest win of his career.
And as we mentioned earlier, Andrew Fanfare, among the top 4-5 light heavyweights in the world, looking for another shot at Adonis Stevenson. His only loss over the last 20 fights in a light heavyweight title bout was to Stevenson 2 years ago in Montreal. He did knock Stevenson down in the 9th round, but Fanfare was knocked out of the first round and the 5th, and Stevenson won it by unanimous decision.
It was a good fight. I remember the fight with big left hook by Sulcki a second ago. Centeno's hurt. And just a great win by Joe Smith Jr. I mean, he came in, huge underdog, and you know, turned the tides. He took control of his own destiny and scored the knockout. I'm not going to let the judges decide on this one. I'm going to take matters into my own hands.
And I can recall Fanfare telling us that he would not take Smith for granted.
I'm not so sure about that, Marv. I think they were so worried about that Adonis Stevenson payday, they're kind of overlooking, and they forgot they had Joe Smith in front of them tonight. Happens all the time. And it's human nature. It's almost impossible not to think about the bigger fight with Stevenson. Man, all I got to do is get by this guy, this guy, this guy.
Nice combination by Sulcki. But Centeno remains on his feet. The idea Sulcki's annoyed that it's lasted this long.
Yeah, he's definitely going for the knockout.
And now you see the blood of the nose of Centeno. Kind of a dangerous place when you're bleeding. Sometimes you've got a bad nosebleed. I know I've had it where it's come down my throat and into my mouth before. So
was this in the ring or out?
In the ring. Yeah, but you see the blood of the nose, makes it difficult to breathe, and then it also makes it you know, very uncomfortable for the fighter. He's already getting dominated.
Big right hand by Sulcki.
One thing Centeno showing, he's showing the chin.
Well, I'd like to see Merrill a little more willingness to fight from Centeno.
Yeah.
I know it's easier said than done, but you know, you got to give credit to Sulcki. Don't just say, hey, Centeno is he's not fighting. Sulcki's doing things to take away his offensive weapons.
Definitely.
Maybe you could take a page out of your manual on the body attack and see if you can get this kid out of here.
Centeno just looking to hang in to go the distance. 35 seconds remaining in round 9.
Yeah, I think Centeno, he's surviving now. I think he gave up.
And it's just strange you see that from a kid who's 25-0. So normally when you're 25-0, you want to go out on your shield, or you're going to give it 100%. And you know, it looks like that wasn't the case tonight.
So we are headed to the 10th and final round.
Sulcki is just having his way, doing whatever he wants with Centeno tonight, Marv. Very surprising how he's come in and been able to dominate. More good stuff from Sulcki.
Premier Boxing Champions on NBC is brought to you by Corona, who invites you to find your beach. By Applebee's new wood-fired grills, and by Mobile Strike. Download and play now, free from the App Store. Back in Chicago and back down to Marv Albert, BJ Flores, and Errol Spence Jr.
All right, thank you, Liam. 10th and final round. Maciej, Sulcki, Hugo Centeno. It has been a shutout. Sulcki, a 27-year-old out of Warsaw, Poland, 22-0. And Centeno, a 25-year-old out of Oxnard, California, comes in undefeated. And as I mentioned earlier, Centeno has not been active as of late. Sulcki. So this is the first time that he has been knocked down tonight. Second time in his career.
That's it.
And it's all over.
Great finish. That was a statement.
It really definitely made a statement, and I think it was the right call. You know, he was getting dominated all 10 rounds. Marv got hurt, got up. Referee took a good look at him, and he didn't look stable, so I agree with the call.
Mark Nelson saying that's enough. Maciej Sulcki making a lot of folks here happy after they saw that upside loss by Fanfare. Here's the combo, and back comes Sulcki with the right hand, and that's it.
And it was a good shot. Marvy set it up with a jab. He was getting in range for it all night. He landed it multiple times. Well, that time he landed it right on the button. Fight's over. And I mean, they got to be ecstatic in the corner of Sulcki like what they saw tonight. I mean, he boxed, he was effective, and he knocked this guy out. It's always nice to close the show in a fight that you're dominating in such a one-sided fashion.
And good to see Centeno up on his feet. Let's go to arena announcer Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee in charge, Mark Nelson, brings an end to the contest at 1 minute 6 seconds of the 10th round for your winner by technical knockout and remaining undefeated, Maciej Sulcki.
So Maciej Sulcki, fifth straight win by knockout. Let's take a look again. Looked like it was headed the distance, but one punch square to Centeno sends him down and sends Centeno to the first defeat of his career and sends this crowd into a frenzy. It was disappointing for the Polish contingent when Fanfare was defeated shockingly by knockout, but those who stayed around got to see Sulcki win by knockout here tonight in Chicago with some late power against Centeno Jr. Thank you so much for watching Premier Boxing Champions on NBC. You can head over to NBCSN right now for more PBC action, and be sure to tune in next Saturday on NBCSN for our next live PBC event as hard-hitting Justin Deloche takes on undefeated Junior Castillo. Coming up next on NBC, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. And tonight at 11:30, 10:30 Central, it's Saturday Night Live. So long from UIC Pavilion.